is CBS 11 News Now.
Hello, everyone. Joining us here on Facebook Live. This is News Now. This is our digital update. I'm Ken Molestina. We are coming to you live in our Fort Worth studios. And as always, we want to remind you guys that you can participate in this conversation that we are having here on Facebook Live. Be sure to send us in your messages, your questions, your comments, anything you want to chat about. We will address them here on this digital update. Hey, want to get to a story that we are following right now. Of course, everyone's still talking about the school shooting that happened out in Italy earlier this week. The suspect in that shooting, teenager, went before a judge earlier today. We do have a crew in the courtroom right now. We're being told that the court has decided that 16-year-old will be detained based on a number of reasons. Some of the reasons that were given were a lack of adequate supervision for him. Apparently, he is a danger to himself, and he might be a threat to public safety. The judge has also ordered a psychological evaluation here. We're told that suspect had his head down the entire time he was in the courtroom. He nodded when the judge gave him instructions. Of course, he is charged right now with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. We're told that the 15-year-old that he targeted, a teenager by the name of Noelle Jones, she was shot in the neck and in the abdomen. She's still in the hospital recovering from this. But again, that teenager went before a judge earlier today. And we do have crews down there. We're going to check in with them a little later on for the latest on that. Want to switch gears now to something that you all, especially here on social media and in the interwebs, might be familiar with: Bitcoin. A lot of people talking about this digital currency, and it appears that it perhaps might be going mainstream. We say this because there are some Bitcoin ATMs that are popping up around town. Jason Allen's working on this story. I'm not going to steal any more of your thunder, Jason. Tell me what this is about, where you're at, and you've got an interesting little demo here. What do you got?
We're going to try it. First, did you say interwebs?
Interwebs, yeah, the www.coms.
Interwebs.
I heard someone's grandfather
good official
say that
terminology.
one time.
I can tell you're an expert in all things Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. What do you got?
Way to sound smart, Ken. Yes, we've been working on this, and I'm not going to try to delve into Bitcoin necessarily and what it is and how big it is and explain it, because it's obviously been blowing up the past couple of months, and it takes some explanation. But we kind of noticed as we were doing some reporting on it in the fall that there were places around town you pop up in maps, like online maps, that are labeled Bitcoin. And what we realized is there are more and more and more, and I don't know that people realize how many places there are, more and more places to buy it easily. It is not necessarily something where you have to get online, have a bunch of know-how, but you can do it. And so that's kind of part of the story that we've put together tonight, which is where these places are, how it works, why it works. So as part of that, and part of our wanting to understand it a little better, I'm going to go ahead and try to take you through this. And I'll be honest, I haven't done this yet, so you're seeing it for the first time. So if I screw up or mess it up, well, you're going to see it live. So this is one of the machines where you can buy Bitcoin now. This is Athena. This is a company, I believe it's out of Chicago. There's 4 or 5 companies. There's actually 3 companies based here in North Texas where you can do this. But here we go. Let's go ahead and walk through. So I'm going to go ahead and touch the screen. You can see I've got a choice to buy coins or withdraw cash or redeem. So I'm going to try to buy coins here. I got a choice of how much I'd like to buy. I'm going to keep the amount small. And you'll see they're selling it for about $12,871 a Bitcoin plus a fee today. That's about $1,700 to $1,800 more than what the price is today based on the going rate. So they're selling a little bit higher price, but we're going to go ahead and buy some. I'm going to get away here. All it's going to ask me to do is put in my phone number.
Yeah.
That's because the wallet that I'm going to have the Bitcoin sent to is actually on my phone. So it has just sent me a text after I did that. I'm going to punch this in. Ken, if you got any questions at any point, fire away. Well, it's giving me a choice, by the way, Bitcoin or Litecoin. This one has a couple of options.
We're getting comments as you do that there, Jason, and as you show us there. We've got Zach Holland. He writes in capital letters, "Don't use the ATMs!" Exclamation point. He says it's a ripoff, and you get half of the value that you would online. So, I mean, apparently there are some people that have very strong opinions about this already, Jason. We got a bunch of people tuning in also. We've got Terry Arnson from Flower Mound says hi. What were you going to say?
So that's a good point. I mean, you saw there how the price was so much higher, and there was a fee that's charged on top of that just because of the smaller amount that we're buying. So that's a good point. There are fees associated with it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we got into our story tonight is why people like these machines and like to use these more than doing some of the online exchanges. Okay, so it's asking me to scan my code here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead now and, despite the advice, which I appreciate,
we're taking notes.
I'm going to go ahead and... All right, so it doesn't want to take my
because
dollar
you've got
bill,
a
so let's try it
wrinkled
again.
bill. Yeah. All right. This is
this is
live.
as
I mean, this
bad
is
as
what you were
buying from a
talking
vending
about.
machine.
Oh man.
I love it.
What's going on? Maybe they're just too wrinkled.
He doesn't want to take my money.
Hey, you know what,
Okay.
Jason? When all else fails, though, you've got wine coolers right behind you. I'm sure you can use those $5 and get some wine coolers, man. Call it good. Bitcoin,
Okay,
Schmidtcoin.
so I told you. See, we're live. You don't know exactly how it's going to work or if it's going to work. And in this case, it's not. So there's live TV for you.
Okay.
I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah,
Later
we get the
tonight when
point.
I do this story, we'll see how much I was able to get and how much it's finally worth at the end of the day, because this thing is just all over the place. So we'll talk more about these, where these are, why they are in these places, and why people like to use them.
Yeah, all right. Well, again, at least you got some wine coolers behind you, right? You know, people love wine coolers, especially guys like you,
That's
right? All right. Jason Allen, I'm just messing around with him. Hey, so anyway, Jason's working on that story. He's going to have a whole lot more on this that you can tune into later on our newscasts. And of course, CBSDFW.com and our social media platforms. Right now, I want to bring in Matt Uris. Matt, come on in here.
What's up?
This is our CBS News digital anchor, Matt Uris, talking a little bit about some of the big stories that you guys are following today. And of course, at the very top, we're talking about Larry Nassar and the response that Michigan State University has now issued in light of all of this.
Yes, Larry Nassar, as many of you are aware, is the U.S. gymnastics doctor. He also worked at the University of Michigan State University for about 20 years. He was just sentenced to 175 years in prison for sexual abuse, many of them to future Olympians there at Michigan State. The university is now coming under fire for just how they've handled the situation through the years. In 2014, Michigan State launched its own investigation and ultimately cleared him. They did make some guideline changes. In 2017, Michigan State Police launched their own investigation. They had a trainer there tell them, and they put this in their report, that Nassar has never touched any of these women. That's what they were told. The trainer said that the gymnast had never touched. Let me start over. I want to get this quote right. In 2017, Michigan State Police conducted its own investigation after more than a dozen or so accusations in the time frame from 2014 to 2017.
Right.
There was a coach, a trainer at the university that told the officers that she had never had such a complaint against Nassar. That went into their formal report. In defending the president of the university, famous basketball coach Tom Izzo said, "I hope they convicted the right person." He has since tried to do some cleanup on that.
Sure.
And a trustee then referred to the whole situation as just this Nassar thing. Of the more than 100 and something women that testified, gave impact statements at the sentencing, many of them were former Michigan State athletes, and they were outraged. They were slamming the university for how this has been handled. And this is far from over, even with the sentencing. We'll see this moving forward. And I'm curious also to see what happens with the U.S. Olympics gymnastics.
I want to talk about that in a second, but before we get to that, folks should know that recently, just in the last maybe 15 minutes or so, we got word that he was sentenced to 175 years.
Yep.
So it must have been in the time that probably you were walking over here from your desk. So it's important to point that out. What else are people saying online about maybe everybody else, Matt, who is around? I mean, you know, Nassar obviously is one guy. Michigan State, that's one institution. But how about USA Gymnastics? How about everybody else that, you know, may have played an enabler kind of a role in all of this? People are upset about that. I know that they were saying all that kind of stuff during the impact statements. Is that still kind of the sentiment?
There is outrage all the way around. 60 Minutes a while back did a piece featuring Ali Reisman, who is, of course, Olympic gold medalist and a very featured athlete at the most recent Summer Games. and she took shots at U.S. Gymnastics, saying they did not do enough. This judge, during this sentencing period, has allowed more than 100 accusers, more than 150 accusers, to step forward. Some have been standing next to their parents. They've had national cameras on them most of the time, if not the entire time. And it has really highlighted what was originally, suspected to be a little bit smaller of a situation, and just how long, how many victims, how much outrage. And now this man is going to be behind bars for the rest of his life. You're going to start to see the shift, and the shift is going to go to, outside of Nassar, who let this slip away? How much fault should go to the U.S. Olympics, gymnastics? How much fault should go to the university and the people within the university? The one person I think is coming under the most fire within that university right now is the president. You have so many accusations, and not just Olympic athletes, but parents who sent their young daughters there to train as student athletes with the trust of that university presumed. They feel like they've been failed. This is long from over, and it will play out in the coming months.
Certainly haven't heard the last of this stuff. All right, Matt, thanks so much for joining us and for sharing that with our Facebook Live audience. All right, appreciate it. Let's walk on over here to Annalise Parks.
Hi.
Very casual look today.
I'm
casual. Point that out. You're doing a promo later on today, right?
We're doing a weather promo in a little over an hour. So I am running today, back and forth.
By the way, that's why she's got the casual look. Right, the sunglasses on the top of her. I asked her to put them on. There you go. You did it.
Here we go. Why not?
Are you going to do the forecast like that now?
Yes. It's so nice and sunny. I might just go out and do it outside.
How is it looking out there?
It's great.
It is nice, yeah.
Look at some of the temperatures right now. So we're climbing up into the upper 50s, taking it into the middle of the day. 57 Denton, McKinney 58, Dallas 57, and Fort Worth almost to 60 degrees. So high pressure is right over the region. We're not going to see really much in the way of cloud cover today. It's going to stay sunny. So really a nice mild day. Temperatures at least close to average. And we're going to keep this going as we look ahead into the next several days, wrapping up the work week, heading into the weekend, a stretch of 60s. We do have a cold front that'll swing through early Saturday, not overly strong as far as the cooler air mass with that. So let's just keep the 60s going while we're at it.
Yes, please, let's do that. Let's talk real quick about something that a lot of people have been talking to us about. And I know maybe not today, but yesterday and Monday.
Yes.
The allergens are in the air, right? I mean, cedar was up in the air. I know a lot of people were kind of complaining about that. These allergies kind of acting up.
Right, and then in the months to come, we know that's only going to kick up, right? So a little bit of rain, cool temperatures usually help, but rain is not going to be in the forecast until Friday night.
These winds that we saw a couple of days ago, though, I'm sure that played a pretty good role in getting those allergens
stirring
up in the air,
everything
right?
up. Yes, but the winds today, how about it? It's only about 5-mile-per-hour winds today. So yeah, the winds early this week made our nice temperatures feel a lot cooler. You're really not going to see much wind today. It's going to stay about 5 miles an hour out of the south. So it will be a pleasant stretch.
Quick question for you. We've got Jeff Petrulis asking, what are the chances that we have another day of fire danger like Monday?
Yeah, we will need to be watching. So we're still below average. Our western half especially is below average on rainfall by quite a bit for this time of the year. So still encourage all with the dry air in place that we have. Not seeing as much wind right now, but tomorrow winds are going to pick back up, and heading into Friday, those winds pick back up. So those would be the days to really avoid any burning of any kind.
Okay, all right, cool. You know, my favorite part really about these Facebook Lives is everyone who's like sending in comments and questions. I'm still waiting for the ones that where you're getting complimented for rocking those sunglasses on the top of your head or wearing them inside. But listen to this. I was going back and forth and laughing with Jason about the wine coolers after the $5 bill didn't work. William Ebersbach says, Jason was a good sport for putting up with those wine cooler jokes. William, he is a good sport. He's a friend, and that's why I joke with him like that. And a little secret about Jason, and why that was kind of funny, especially if you know him. He's a bit of a whiskey connoisseur.
Right.
So, obviously wine coolers are not his thing. Right, exactly.
I was waiting for him to do the trick, if if the machine's not taking it, where you take it on the corner of the machine. And
flatten it out.
Flatten it out.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to try that. But
yeah, maybe he'll do that. Let's see. He'll do that maybe on one of the later Facebook Lives or the later live shots in the newscast. C. Bird says, I've got 90 Bitcoins to buy the Cowboys. Jerry Jones. And Cody Huffman likes your sunglasses, by the way.
Thank you.
He says sunglasses, yes. Emoji with sunglasses.
Oh,
so,
yeah. I love that
they
one.
like the look. All right.
All right.
Annalise, thanks so much for filling us in on all this kind of stuff. And good luck on your promo shoot a little later on. We will see you at 4 o'clock.
I'll see you
CBS
then.
11 News at 4 o'clock.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, on this Facebook Live. As always, remember that we like these comments, so keep them coming because we like chatting with you. We will see you later. Take care.